welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 tips from a fitness model to an aspiring fitness model. I have gotten a bunch of messages and questions and comments and things from people who have watched the fitness modeling video. So I thought, why not do another one that's a little bit more in depth? I wasn't expecting that one to be something that people actually related to or they were interested in learning more about. So I went ahead and I wrote a list about more things if you are interested in getting into fitness modeling. Like maybe fashion modeling is not for you, or you have a similar issue like me, your height is typically an issue and you want to get into fitness modeling because you know that you are talented, you know you have something to offer brands, and you know that you are capable. So if you haven't already watched that, go watch that video now so all of this can make sense, and then come back here and watch. But if you've seen it already, here's your next step. This is just my personal advice, right? From my experience in modeling and specifically within fitness modeling. So, number one, have a niche. So this is incredibly important because so many times I'll see castings that ask for things like wakeboarding. And I'm like, no, not me. Or people who can skateboard, or people who can do certain poses in yoga, or, you know, with me, gymnastics, acrobatics, aerial stuff is sometimes a niche. So really determine what your niche is and go deep. These clients need you on set for at least 8 hours a day, most likely. That's like a typical job, right? So if you can't do your sport, you're most likely not gonna get chosen. So for example, I booked a Marriott job because I went up into a headstand in the casting room and I did a bunch of like leg stuff. And they're like, we booked you because you were just in the headstand forever. So we knew you could do this and be upside down for half the day. So literally find that niche and know in your heart that you can do it and you're good at it. And you would feel comfortable going to a casting where they said they're looking for tennis players, they're looking for badminton players. But you will also hear from other people in the industry where you say yes to everything and you learn afterwards if you book it. You take a chance there. Like if they say they're asking for skydivers and you're like, I've never been skydiving. Sometimes it's just gonna be a set or they'll hook you in, but sometimes it really is. So just make sure that whatever you're putting on there is something that you would feel comfortable going into a casting for. I had tennis on my resume because I took lessons when I was 7. My mom played tennis, I have friends who play tennis, so I was like, oh, they could always teach me something for a casting. Since going into tennis castings, I'm like, no, not again. Like I just feel like an idiot when I go in there. So my options are tell them no more tennis castings, or I could take lessons and learn tennis well enough to be able to do it again. So you just have 2 different options. Number 2, show what you can do. So with your portfolio, you want to actually show what your body can physically do, not just what it looks like aesthetically. Sure, they can see a bunch of like, okay, she looks pretty, she looks skinny, she can do this, or he's buff, he can do this, but can you actually do things? And kind of going off of what I said before, if you can't do it for 8 hours a day, you're not gonna get hired again. They're not gonna refer you to other clients. A photographer is not gonna want to recommend you to a future client for a future job, because that's sometimes how you get a lot of jobs, is just referrals from people you've worked with. So they might not even have a casting, but they're like, oh, I remember her, she's a good fit. And then they'll recommend you to casting or the director or the producers. So really feel confident with that and show what you can do. Show your talent, show your abilities. The cool thing about fitness modeling is it's not just fashion, it's not just aesthetic, it's literally what can you do. Number 3, make your sport aesthetic and different. So going off of show what you can do now, show how it can be aesthetic and show how it can be different. Because a lot of times, even in gymnastics, the crew doesn't know exactly what I can do or what gymnasts can do. So they'll give cues that are typically what they see on TV, or they're like, just give movement or do some jumps. But it's up to you to know what looks good for the camera. Do a bunch of test shoots, do shoots by yourself, figure out your angles, figure out what moves and what angles look the best for what skill you're doing, if that makes sense. So that you can be like, boom, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Because if you know your talents, your angles, your skills, you are going to be able to lead it in a different way. Just go for it. Just show them. Because if they get the shot and they're like, whoa, let's go that direction, and they see that you can do it, it's worth a shot. Number 4, in your portfolio, you want to have variety action, so action-based shots, and a variety of lifestyle shots. Think lifestyle commercial, things that could be in Target or something like Athleta, where you're kind of lounging or walking, or REI even if you're an outdoorsy type person. So have your action shots of the sport that you do, but then also show that you can be kind of lifestyle and commercial so that you can book even bigger jobs with bigger brands. Show that you have that ability as well in your portfolio. Number 5, have a current movement reel. So you want to make sure your movement reel is something that you can still do. It's not something from like 10 years ago. And you want to show all the things you can do, but in video, because sometimes clients will do photo and video over its commercial shoot. They're going to want to see how you actually move, because sure, you can look cool in a photo, but if they see that you're really clumsy getting into that, or you don't really look like an athlete or fitness, or you don't know what you're doing, that's going to be telling. So make sure in your movement reel that you show them your best stuff, the best of the best, right? And only show what you know that you're doing. Like if you're like getting into something and it's like struggly, show the good part. Go in slow motion or something like that, where you're not showing the setup and the get out or the fall or anything like that. Number 6, maintain your skills, your strength, and your endurance, especially during downtime. So right now we're in quarantine and a lot of people are gonna be struggling. They're gonna struggle with their endurance because they're not training regularly. They're gonna be struggling with their strength because they're not doing their normal stuff unless they're training at home. And their endurance is so important because if you are doing something on set for 8 hours, you can only shoot so much at home for clients that are asking of that. But when it's time to go back to set and you've had however many months we're in quarantine off, your endurance is going to be struggling unless you're able to maintain it, and even just in between jobs during a normal society. So make sure you're maintaining your skills, your strength, and your endurance so that whenever a job pops up or a casting, you're able to jump right in and there's not the need to have to prep for a casting or prep for a job. Number 7, put your portfolio on Google Drive or on your website. So somewhere that if you're submitting to agencies, they can see the link right there and go to it, versus having only a physical book or just an Instagram. Like you want your best of your best that you want it to look like in your control on a Google Drive or on a website. Number 8, going off of that, use your social media as your virtual resume. So that is literally you showing your resume to everyone, what you can do, who you follow, how many followers you have, what kind of engagement you get, your aesthetics, your style, your personality, all that needs to be put forward, and make your social media or whatever account you're showing to agents your business profile, your business personality, your you, right? That is your virtual resume that you're putting out there, so it should be professional and it should not include a lot of personal stuff that they might not decide to rep you for. Watch out for that. Number 9, tag brands that you already love, that you already use, that you already purchase, because that's the first way to start building relationships. And this is not necessarily an influencer way. This is you tagging a brand that you love in your social media posts and saying, I love this brand so much, look at what I can create for you, look how I can help you. Then that leads into number 10, how you determine your pricing. We're gonna do a little bit of math here. So if you think, what is it that I want to make this year with modeling, with fitness modeling? So I get an agent, right? And this is the amount that I want to make in this calendar year. From that amount, divide by 12. So let's just say you're getting regular monthly work. Divide that by 12. So let's just go really easy and round because we're models, not mathematicians. So let's say you just want to make 12,000. Let's go simple, but trust me, you want to make more. 12,000 this year with just fitness modeling, okay? Divide by 12. $1,000 a month would be kind of your goal, right? So let's say you want to work 2 jobs a month. It's pretty nice, right? You're just making that 1,000 on the side, right, each month. So you want to work 2 jobs. Those 2 jobs would mean that they'd either be split in half, like you'd make 500 on each job, or it could be you could do 1 smaller job and 1 bigger job. So you have to do the math to break it down and think about, all right, that's like a moderate sized job. Or you could book a $12,000 job once. They exist. So just start to think about that. And if you're wanting to get out of the influencer space, I want you to really think about your goals, think about why you're doing this, determine that pricing for yourself, and see if it matches when you actually get signed and when you start doing jobs, if your hourly rate or your day rate is aligned with what you thought. or what your agents have for you. So I'm really excited for you to get going with this, to get started. If you have any questions, please leave them in comments below. I will answer them. I'm still getting used to YouTube and like getting notifications and things, but if you have any questions or you want me to take a look at your reel, let me know. I'm more than happy to also do some Zoom classes and maybe do some hot seat coaching with those of you who are interested and have your portfolios ready, so I can give you some tips and pointers and what I think will help you in your career. So if you haven't already, subscribe please, comment, and be sure to tune in next time. I put out new videos every Thursday.